A rebounding restaurant scene saw 34 openings in the Bloomington-Normal area last year, with 14 open or set to open thus far in 2024. That's according to retired McLean County Food Inspector Larry Carius, who keeps tabs on the regional restaurant scene. Carius recently stopped by WGLT studios to debrief Lauren Warnicki on industry news. Carius captures his conversations with restaurant owners in a Facebook blog called Bloomington Normal Restaurant Scene. It's a passion that began nearly 15 years ago when his wife Kay noticed how many hours he was logging in a recliner. Now his retirement hobby has more than 40,000 followers and is one of the most successful Facebook pages in town. And he says he's as surprised about that as you are.
I'm not a good writer, and really the major interest I have in the restaurants is the ones that open, the ones that close, maybe do a major remodeling, but I'm most interested in the people who run restaurants. I find them absolutely fascinating. You have to be a different type of person to be a successful restaurant owner. And I mean that in a positive way.
We've had recent announcements of 2 restaurants closing in downtown Bloomington, Under the Ground and Zeta. What can you tell us about their reasons for closing?
All I know is what I read on Facebook. I've not talked with Joel at Zeta Coffee. I've not talked with Cecil at Under the Ground. From what I understand, Joel said on Facebook he wants to concentrate on his restaurant out in Downs, Illinois, which is a freestanding building, which is an old, nice building. Under the Ground, I read on Facebook, the same as what you read on Facebook. I think they've kind of struggled there since they've opened. I know nothing more than that.
Yeah. I'd love to ask you about that location in particular. There have been, a lot of restaurants that have come and go from that location. Certainly, One Flingers has been very successful in a new location. And I know you don't like to speculate about heebie-jeebies at any particular location, but do you think that has anything to do with it?
I rarely, and I say rarely, blame a location for a restaurant's demise, because as soon as I blame the location for a restaurant's demise, another restaurant might open next year, which is wildly successful. A good local restaurant that serves food, they can survive in most locations.
I'd love to talk also about a couple of restaurants who were temporarily closed. Luca Grill being perhaps one of the more notable restaurants, 87 years of operation. They're now newly reopened. What happened there?
They closed for 10 days. They had a walk-in cooler in the basement. It could have been the original walk-in cooler. It still worked okay, but as John, the owner, said, it was just time for a new one. And the way it was built in the basement and everything, they had to close because they had to tear it out. They got their saws all in there and they tore it out, and then they had to rebuild a new one. And then also while they were doing that they put in a new glycol beer cooling unit, which I don't really understand, but
Yeah.
But he said was very expensive. So they were closed for 10 days to replace the walk-in cooler and to put in a new glycol unit.
Now, I believe the Chick-fil-A on Veterans Parkway has also been closed for a little bit. There are other places to get your chicken fix around town, but of course this is a tragic development that Chick-fil-A is temporarily closed. So what's going on there?
I stopped and talked to the general manager, to the owner, and I don't fully understand what they're doing there. On the pickup side, they are expanding it. That on the inside, they're going to be building or putting in a new crew room, that they're carving it out of the dining room, but that the playground or the play area is going to be going.
And is there anything new on the horizon that we should look for to be opening in the next couple of months?
We have 3 restaurants that are planning on opening in the next month or so. I stopped by at Reverie this morning. Reverie is the former Ozark House, and they open up Monday. And then we have Jets Pizza that's in the Eastland Commons Shopping Center. This is between Kobe and Hot Walk. Are you familiar with Jets Pizza?
I am not.
I wasn't either. It's a Detroit-style pizza, and it's famous for its 8-corner pizzas.
So Pizza Paya might have a little bit of competition on their hands for the Detroit style, huh?
And you're not going to ask me about eight corners pizza?
Is it an octagon?
When I talk to people, you're the first one who did not ask me. When Jets started, Their first pizza pan, they were used from one of the automobile manufacturers up there. Guy who started took them home, cleaned them up. They were a special heavy-duty pan. When you made the pizza in these pans, it formed special four corners. They were very thick and very crispy. So when the pizza started to become popular, people were fighting over the corners. So now when you get a large pizza, it's not one large pizza, it's two smaller pizzas that are put together.
Gotcha.
And they're eight
So more people
pizza.
get an end piece.
I
gotcha.
That's more than what you ever wanted to know.
My colleagues and I have somewhat of a investigative report going on the various cheese ball varieties that are all over Bloomington Normal establishments. Where do you go to get your cheese balls?
I don't go anywhere to get cheese balls. That's the best thing I can answer on that. So,
You're not a cheese ball guy?
well, if somebody has a cheese ball, of course I will enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I have never purchased a cheese ball in my life.
Also new on the scene are Social Taco, a concept restaurant placing all sorts of global delights on a tortilla. Social Taco is now open in the shops at College Hills, replacing Flat Top Grill. And speaking of tortillas, both Moe's Southwest Grill locations have reopened following remodeling in Bloomington and Normal, and Tequila's Mexican restaurant is now also open in Hayworth. WGLT's Lauren Warnicki spoke with Twin City restaurant watcher Larry Carius.